A young man and woman are locked together in a passionate kiss. He holds her head with both hands, leaning into her so she has to lean back as she clings to him. In the background, a figure in shadows lurks on the stairs. Perhaps the couple will be discovered soon. There is a charged air of desperation here, and perhaps of secrecy. Interestingly, the couple's faces are largely obscured. The actual act of the kiss, rather than the individuals themselves, becomes the focal point. This is The Kiss, painted by Italian artist Francesco Hayez in 1859. The painting captivates viewers with its intimacy and passion, and its technical detail is immense. Just look at the rendering of her dress. At first glance, it appears to simply be a beautiful painting that captures the intensity of young love. However, many art historians interpret the painting primarily through the lens of politics, arguing that it is rich in symbolism and makes a secret statement of the artist's nationalistic loyalties. To understand this interpretation, it's necessary to understand the historical context in which the painting was created. In 1859, the year The Kiss was painted, Italy was in the midst of the Italian Risorgimento, also known as the Italian Unification. Following the defeat of Napoleon, the Congress of Vienna in 1815 redrew much of the borders of Europe and divided Italy into several separate states, many of which were directly or indirectly controlled by the Austrian Empire. Despite this fragmentation, nationalist sentiment grew among the Italian states for decades, culminating in the First War of Italian Independence in 1848. This uprising was unsuccessful. The Austrians suppressed it. But in 1859, a secret agreement had been struck between Napoleon III of France and Sardinian Prime Minister Count Cavour to form an alliance between France and Italy against Austria. A second war for Italian independence broke out, and this time, with French support, the Austrians were defeated. By 1861, the Kingdom of Italy was proclaimed. Hayez's painting was created in the midst of this turmoil, specifically in 1859, right as the Second War of Independence was breaking out. At the time, amongst nationalist circles, there was much hope that the alliance with France would lead to the ousting of the Austrians and the unification they desired, but none of it had quite happened yet. So why do many art historians interpret this as a political work? First, the man in the painting is believed to be a soldier, saying goodbye to his beloved before going to fight for Italy. He wears a knife at his side. The desperation and passion of the kiss is explained by the fact that this may be the last time he sees her. It's uncertain whether he will return from war. His cloak and the couple's hiding from the figure on the stairs invokes the secret machinations and espionage occurring at the time. But perhaps the most important symbolism lies in the colors of both figures' clothing. At first glance, the man appears to wear only red beneath his brown cloak. His red tights are the most visible part of his outfit. But closer inspection reveals he also has a green shirt on, hidden beneath. The Italian flag is red, white, and green, so the hidden green appears to symbolize Italy, perhaps concealed for safety. The woman's dress, on the other hand, is blue, prominent in the French flag. She is therefore meant to represent France, and the kiss represents the hoped-for union between Italy and France to defeat the Austrians. But is this really what Hayez intended? After all, there are no records of him explicitly saying this is what the painting is about. If you're like me, perhaps you're a bit skeptical of this reading. The man is dressed in 14th century clothing. He is certainly not depicted as a contemporary Risorgimento soldier. The desperation in the scene could have multiple explanations beyond an imminent departure for war. And if the colors were truly supposed to be symbolic of the flags, why wouldn't Hayez have made it more obvious? If the man represents the Italian flag, why doesn't he wear white? And why doesn't the woman have red in her clothing? This raises the question, why can't a painting displaying tender and passionate love be appreciated simply for what it is? Does it require deeper political symbolism to be considered a masterpiece? Before we get further into the evidence, I want to tell you a bit about myself. This is my first long-form video after making shorts on this channel for a long time. As some of you know, I initially started this YouTube channel to support my printing business, where I sell high-quality fine art prints of some of the most beautiful and famous paintings from the past. I've been selling on Etsy for a few years, but now I'm so happy to announce that I finally got my own website, annaprintsco.com, which you can see below. If you're interested in buying a print of the kiss and you live in the US, check it out. This supports the channel and will allow me the freedom to make more long-form art videos like this one. Now, back to the kiss. I was skeptical of a political interpretation of this painting until I dug deeper and uncovered some further evidence. First, Hayez was a known nationalist at the time. He had painted various scenes of Italian history, earning him a reputation as a patriotic painter. In 1841, Italian activist Giuseppe Manzini, who fought for Italian unification, published an article praising Hayez for his patriotic work. Some of his most faithful patrons were also well-known nationalists. Not much is known about the politics of the specific man who commissioned Hayez to paint the kiss, Alfonso Maria Visconti, but it feels safe to assume that he knew the reputation of the man he had hired. Given that context, it would be strange to imagine Visconti commissioning a major work from Hayez without at least expecting, if not actively encouraging, a painting that carried a nationalist undercurrent. Additionally, there was active censorship at the time by Austrian authorities. Hayez resided in Milan, which was part of Lombardy Venetia under the full control of the Austrian Empire. When Austria gained control over much of Italy after the Congress of Vienna, they immediately established a censorship bureau to monitor publications and public works, ensuring that no Italian nationalistic ideas were circulated. Terms in literature like liberty or tyrant were banned. Opera lyrics were even forcibly changed. In one instance, a line in a Rossini opera was changed from "think of your country" to "think of your spouse." This censorship lasted until the defeat of the Austrians, meaning that in 1859, Hayez would have needed to be wary of Austrian censors. His work could not be too explicitly political. It required plausible deniability. Finally, Hayez created subsequent versions of this painting, including one directly after Italian reunification in which the symbolism is more explicit. The man's green is more prominent and the woman's blue is replaced by white. The colors now represent only the Italian flag, suggesting an open celebration of his country's unification. While it's impossible to read Hayez's mind and determine exactly what he intended with this artwork, the evidence suggests with fair confidence that this painting really was meant to contain political symbolism. Perhaps this is the true genius of the painting. It works on multiple levels. At the time it was produced in Milan, it served as a hopeful statement of Italian reunification, identifiable to contemporaries as an implicitly political work. But it was also crafted in such a way that it genuinely captures deep passion, which allows the painting to move audiences hundreds of years later, even without knowledge of the context in which it was created. Whether viewed as a political allegory or a timeless depiction of romantic passion, The Kiss remains one of Hayez's most celebrated works, a testament to the power of art to operate on multiple levels simultaneously.